That entrance unique IP address is this. And we have only one now. Okay, let's get connected to it and I'll make it as a web server. I'm grabbing the instance public IP address, navigating to desktop key pairs folder, ssh-i, my Linux KP, ec2-user @ then give the public IP address of your instance. Type yes. I want to switch to root user. Sudo space su. All right. I got connected to my instance now. I want to make it as a web server. So the regular commands yum install stdpd-y, then service stdpd start, chk config stdpd on. All right. So now the service is up and running. Okay. So now I'm navigating to var www.html. I'm creating an index.html, vim index.html. Press I to go to insert mode. I'm giving a header. This is my web page or web server, whatever. Whatever content you are giving doesn't matter. You just deliver a web page. I'm grabbing that public IP address. Given that here, I'm getting the output. So this is what my current public IP address of my EC2 instance. All right. And we have only one network interface. Okay. So now, if you want to associate additional network interface, first of all, where is your EC2 instance? In what availability zone it is? It is in AP South 1B. You must create network interface in same availability zone. Otherwise, we cannot associate it. Just like your volume. If your instance in 1A, you created volume in 1A only. Then only you can associate it, right? Similar way here also. Navigate to network interfaces. Click on create network interface. Give a description. Additional ENI. In which subnet you want to. Where is our EC2 instance? In AP South 1B. I'm selecting AP South 1B. So do you want to get a private IP address automatically or you want to give a custom one? Auto assign, just go with that now. And what security group you want to give? I told you that, right? Whatever security group we select, that associated to a network interface. So generally, the logic is very simple, guys. I told you this network interface is a entry. Where security will sit? Inside the room or at entry? At entry only, right? This firewall act as, this security group act as a firewall, right? So where this firewall is going to filter the traffic? At entry only, right? So that is what the logic here. So I'm selecting my Linux SG here. Then if you want to give a name, you give a name tag, additional ENI, then create network interface. So now a network interface created here. But you see here, it is in available state. Why? Because we haven't attached it. So select that ENI, navigate to actions. First option is attach. Click on attach and it will show you all the available instances in AP South 1B only. If you're not able to find your EC2 instance here, that means there is a mismatch in your availability zone. Go and select that here, then click on attach. All right, now it is in use. Okay, how we can confirm? Go to instances, select the instance ID, navigate to networking. You see here, earlier we have only one private IP, but now we have two private IP addresses. If you scroll down to bottom, earlier we have only one network interface, but now we have two. But whatever the new network interface we created, that will come with only private IP address. There is no public IP address. If you want, you can generate Elastic IP and you can associate it. Okay. So, but currently no public IP address. So my OS have two network interfaces here. Clear with this? And I want to allocate a public IP address for this additional one also. Then you know concept, right? EIP, Elastic IP address. Navigate to Elastic IP addresses. Allocate Elastic IP address. AWS is going to give a public IP address for our AWS account now. Select that IP, actions, associate Elastic IP address. Now you can associate to an instance or network interface. Select network interface now. Then you see this additional ENI. Select it, then click on associate. All right. So now go back to your EC2 instance, give a refresh. Now this EC2 instance have two public IP addresses. Both works. Now I'm going to grab this 3.109. You see here, this 43 one is delivering same web page. So this 3.1 also is delivering same web page. Okay. So even if you go to your EC2 instance and if you verify network interfaces here, you see this. This is Ethernet 0. This is Ethernet 1. This EC2 instance. Okay, this loopback means local host. Local host, the loopback. The first one is a local host. If you give a command called IP space ADDR, IP space ADDR, it will show all IP address information. Okay, the first one is a local, LO means. Okay, so this ETH0 is one network interface that have IP address of 72 dot. And this is a ETH1, that is another one, that is, this is a IP address. So two network interfaces detected at OS, both are delivering our web page also. All right. So this is the mechanism. And it's not a certification question, but interview, some chances are there. In real environment, very, very less scenarios we use this. Until unless you got a special requirements, so then you can go with this option. But you need to know this thing. And there is a limit also. Now, currently I'm working with T2 Micro, right? So this T2 Micro supports only two network interfaces. We cannot attach more than that. Such type of limits we have. EC2 ENI limits. Even I don't remember that limit. I'll always Google to find the limit. Okay. So this is the things, one public IP address, one private IP address. You see, these are the different instance types. How many network interfaces you can associate? You can find the list here. Here is a T. So the T2 Micro, maximum it supports two network interfaces. Okay. So, but some another EC2 instance like it supports 15, it supports 8, depends on the size. This we will discuss. Okay. So that is a network interface concept, guys. Have this concept in mind, but don't spend a lot of time on this. Okay. Any questions on this network interfaces? ENI. All right. So now I'm going to detach this additional network interface. Here is an option, detach, detach. If detach is not working, we have a force detach also. Okay, once it is detached, you go to Elastic IP address and disassociate first, then after, release it from your AWS account. If you got the concept, don't practice with EIP. 1 hour is a free time limit for your Elastic IP address, but I'm not talking about that. Why? Because you might forget to release it. So then it will cost you. So I'm releasing this Elastic IP address. All right. That network interface also. Network interface is free. It won't cost us anything.
Avinash, I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Can we use Elastic IP address to multiple EC2 instances?
One Elastic IP address to multiple EC2 instances? No. At a time, you can associate it to only one EC2 instance. But you can detach from that server, you can attach it to another one. It's just like, pen drive. Volume also works in similar manner. You can attach it to multiple EC2 instances, but one at a time. You attach it to this. Once you're done with the requirement, you detach. You attach it to another one. Then once you're done with your requirement, you detach from there. Then you can attach to another one. So, but one instance at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that is a network interface part. Now, is it released? Yeah, it's released. So now we have a small concept called EC2 instance isolation. So fine, you're getting an EC2 instance, right? But what is the backend mechanism? How we are getting the EC2 instance? Have you ever got that question? Doubt? Okay. So basically, there is a backend architecture for this. There is a backend architecture for this. So that is again, don't ask me to show it here. Why? Because I cannot show. So we are going to discuss by using a diagram. All right. EC2 instance isolation diagram. This is the one, guys. So basically, so this EC2 instance, this is a how exactly we are going to get our EC2 instance. So first, we are going to have a physical interface. Okay. So this physical interface is nothing but a physical server. So now you're launching an EC2 instance, right? The EC2 instance is taking some CPUs, some RAM, those all things it is taking, right? So those all physically comes from this first layer, physical interface layer. Your CPU, your memory, your storage, right? Network interfaces, physical network interfaces. See, your server, you're able to communicate from your home network. But from your home network to the EC2 instance, you need to have some communication, right? There is a way required to communicate, right? So the physical cables and all terminate at this first level, at this physical interface level. Okay, once you got this physical, now we have firewall. So what is the purpose of firewall? You know the thing, right? Firewall act as security group comes this layer. So we have two types of firewalls. One is AWS managed, second one is customer managed. Whatever security group you are associating to your EC2 instance, that actually comes at third layer. I'm talking bottom, from bottom. So here it comes at third layer. So whatever security group you are creating, whatever ports you're opening, that actually happens at this third one. What about the second one? Second, what firewall it is? That is AWS managed firewall. Okay. So whatever traffic coming from outside world, AWS will filter the traffic here. If it is coming from any bad network, if it is coming from a bot, or if it is coming from any cyber attackers IP addresses, so that will filter here itself. This is AWS managed one. We don't have any control on this. But this third one, it is a customer managed security group. So if you're opening port number 22, that is actually happening at this level. Okay, if you're opening port number 80, same thing will happen here at third level. All right. So till here, three steps. This is a security, physical one, two, or security. Now, you're going to get a server, you're going to get an EC2 instance. Fine. That EC2 instance required some CPU, some RAM, some storage, right? From where that is going to come? From underlying physical resources only. So, this EC2 instance need to take resources virtually from physical interfaces. Whenever you are taking an EC2 instance, see, for practice purpose, what you are doing, you are taking like, T2 micro that comes with one CPU, 1 gigs of the RAM, right? After practice, you are deleting. Now, my question is AWS really preparing a physical server for your usage? No, right? They are not preparing any physical server for our usage. So they are using a virtualization mechanism. Right. Let's keep this diagram aside for now. Let's talk about virtualization now. So you guys know what is virtualization? Okay. Can we install multiple operating system in a laptop? How? Dual boot. Okay, but I want to run both at a time. I want to run both operating systems at a time. If I require, I want to deploy third operating system also. Do we have any option? VirtualBox. You heard about VirtualBox?
VMware.
VMware Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox, Microsoft Hyper-V. These are some softwares. So what you can do, you can install that. First, you are going to have your laptop. This is your laptop. This laptop is going to have like, Windows 10 or Windows 11 operating system. On top of that, you can install a software like, Oracle VirtualBox. Okay. So within this VirtualBox, you can run multiple operating systems. Okay. Now my first question, without turning on this Windows 11, can I run this VirtualBox? No, right? So Windows 11, whatever OS installed in our local laptop, that is depend on the operating system. So first you need to turn on the operating system. Once it is up and running, then you run this VirtualBox application. Within that, you can run these operating systems. So within VirtualBox, you're running some. That also required some resources, right? CPU it required, memory it required to run that operating system. From where it is going to take? From your base laptop. How it is possible? With the help of this VirtualBox application. Okay, this is one mechanism. We call this mechanism as a host-based hypervisor. Host is our Windows 10, Windows 11. Please be on mute, guys. Getting a lot of background noise from someone. Right. So we are first running that Windows 10 or Windows 11. Then only we are able to run some virtualization softwares. So that Windows 11 called as a host here. So technically we call it as a host-based hypervisor. For our home practice, for our local usage, it is okay. But for production usage, it is not okay. So for production usage, what we got another option. Okay, this is a laptop or server. Within this server, we are going to install a hypervisor. Like we have hypervisors like a ESXi is one hypervisor. And we have Xen hypervisor. We have Microsoft Hyper-V. These are different softwares. Okay, with the help of these softwares, we can directly run our operating systems. I'll quickly show one diagram. Host-based versus bare metal. This is a diagram, guys. First, we have hardware. On top of that hardware, observe that left side one. We have hardware. Then we have host OS, that is our Windows 10 or Windows 11. So then we are running hypervisor, then operating systems. That is what host-based hypervisor means. Okay, but generally in production level and all, we don't depend on it. We first have hardware, then we depend on hypervisor. So then we are going to run guest operating systems. So it is easy, more effective. Okay, we call that as a bare metal. Why? This operating system is able to communicate our hardware directly. In this, Type 1 bare metal, our operating system is able to communicate with hardware directly. So we call it as a bare metal. But hosted or host based or type 2. So there is an operating system in between. Okay. So we call it as a host based. Clear with these two types? Okay. Now, when coming to this AWS diagram, you tell me, is it a host based or bare metal? Host based. Are we running any operating system? Hardware, some AWS managed components, hypervisor, then your instance. Bare metal or host based?
Bare metal.
Bare metal.
It's a bare metal. Your EC2 instance operating system can communicate to physical interfaces with the help of this hypervisor. What is the purpose of this hypervisor? It converts physical interfaces as a virtual interface. It will make it available to our EC2 instances. Okay. Now, whenever you are launching an EC2 instance, what happens, AWS is going to launch it on a physical server. And if you observe this diagram, okay, customer 1 server on same hardware, customer 2 server also on same hardware, customer N server also on same hardware. Now, can this server communicate with this server? No. Why? Because traffic filter is managed by AWS firewall. If you observe these lines, arrow marks, where the traffic segregation is happening at this firewall level. So even through all instances, different customer instances running on same hardware, one cannot communicate to another automatically. Okay, until unless you both friends and you both given up key pairs and public IP address, they cannot communicate each other. All right. So this is the EC2 instance isolation mechanism. So you observe whenever we launch an EC2 instance, two types of status checks are happening. You observe this value on your EC2 instance. Here, there is an option called status checks, right? There. 2x2 status checks are there. And 2x2 are clear. What is the 2x2 status checks? One status check happens at this physical interface level. Whether hardware is healthy or not. From outside world, communication is happening or not. Sometimes, even AWS hardware failures also may happen. Any hardware have a lifetime, right? At some point of time, we stopped using it. Just like your old laptop. You still using your old laptop? No? So similar way, sometimes we may get issues with underlying hardware also. So sometimes we may get issues at this physical interface level. We call this as a system status check. Whatever health check AWS is performing. Okay, so we call that as the system status check. So that is nothing but physical interface level, the health check is going to happen. Okay, the second health check happens at instance level. Okay, we call that as an instance status check. One is instance status check, second one is system status check. Okay, so OS level issues, it will verify whether we have enough space to boot the operating system, any OS corrupted or network interface got corrupted. Such type of all issues, it will detect at this level. Okay, so whenever you see any of the status check failure happens, if it is a system status check failure, the fix is perform stop and start. Perform stop and start your EC2 instance, and this is an interview question. And in real time also you may face this issue. Okay, so if your EC2 instance is failing with system status checks, so that means there is an issue with this physical level. So will you go and will you try to fix it? Will AWS guys allow you to go and fix it? No, right? You even don't know where is AWS data center. So they don't allow. In that scenario, what we can do, whenever we perform stop and start, when instance is starting, AWS have a mechanism it will automatically verify whether underlying hardware is healthy or not. Right? It will verify it is healthy or not. If it is healthy, then only this instance run on this hardware. If it is not healthy, AWS will move this instance to another server automatically. You manually no need to do anything. Okay, just perform stop and start. So then this system status check issue will disappear. Okay, so that is a fix for system status check. Sometimes instant status check failure may happen. In that scenario, first option, reboot your instance. Whenever you face any difficulty in your laptop, what you will do? You will do restart, right? You won't throw outside, right? So you first do the restart. So after restart, also if problem is coming, you will do another restart. That's what I do generally, right? So first, if your instance is failing with instant status check, reboot that instance first. That is the first thing. Second thing, go and read your instance logs. This is my EC2 instance. I can go to this actions, monitoring and troubleshooting, get system log. Click on that get system log. If any issue is there, you will find that issue here. This is what happened. What are the services it is starting? Which service is giving trouble? Everything you can see here. Now, somehow you found some issue here. So then you have an option here called EC2 serial console. If it is a boot issue and all, you can do that. That is the second thing. First one is reboot. Second one, observe the log and take connectivity using serial console and try to fix it. Third thing is, you remember that instance root volume replacement task. So you have most recent backup of your operating system, called snapshot, right? So you have snapshot of your root volume. In that scenario, so then go and create root volume replacement task. Go and select, okay, most recent snapshot of the root volume. Then click on create replacement task. Now, AWS will replace your operating system with most recent or the one you selected snapshot, right? To that particular state. Okay. These three things we can do whenever instance status check failures happens. Clear with two status checks and what need to do? Okay. And however, we can raise a ticket with AWS. That option we always have. You go to status checks here. Okay. Report instance status. You go and report this to your AWS, or else you raise a support ticket. They will help you to fix the issue. All right. So any questions on the status checks? It's an interview question, guys. And another question you can expect in interview, that is, okay, you have an EC2 instance. You are not able to get connected to it. What are the things you are going to verify? That is a very common question. You need to think 360 degrees. First of all, whether it is turned on or not. Whether it is in running state or not in stopped state. Then second thing, whether security groups. Third thing, status checks. Fourth thing, some settings from VPC level. Network level settings you need to verify. Okay. So observe the logs. Observe the status checks. Okay. If it is failing, do the discussed things. Any questions? Good so far, right? You got network interface concept, instance isolation. Okay. So then this status checks. So basically, AWS to deliver these EC2 instances, AWS is using a hypervisor. Okay. So earlier, AWS used a hypervisor called Xen hypervisor, XEN. But this is not AWS developed one. This is developed by an organization called Citrix. Citrix developed this, but it is an open source. Open source means anyone can get access to the source code. They can modify, they can add more features. They can use it for their own commercial or any purpose. Right? AWS also did same. Later, AWS developed their own hypervisor called Nitro hypervisor. The hypervisor name is Nitro hypervisor. Okay. So if someone asks you what AWS hypervisor is, answer it as a Nitro. For previous version, for T2 micro and all, still Xen only, but all latest versions we are getting instance with Nitro hypervisor. Okay, clear so far? Now let's discuss another small topic, that is a tenancy mechanism. Now, so if you observe this scenario, same hardware is used by multiple customers. Correct? Okay, so technically there is a shared tenancy. The advantage with shared tenancy is less cost. You know, Ola Share or Uber Pool. You want to travel to High-Tech City from Amirpet. So you have you're trying to use Ola or Uber. You have multiple options, right? Okay, you have Ola Prime and Ola Share. So in both the scenarios, you will get a car. You're going to travel to your destination. But Ola Pool is less or Uber Pool is less and Prime is more cost. Why? Prime is dedicated. Okay, the pool is shared. Who want to travel to same destination or the nearby destination, that guy also will travel along with you. That guy also travels along with you, right? So as two users are using that resource, the car, you're going to get charged less. If you're taking it dedicatedly, only you want to travel or your family members want to travel, so then more cost, you need to pay more. So in similar way, you have a physical interface here. You're okay to share that interface with multiple customers. You will get charged less. No additional cost involved. Just you pay for your instance hourly price. But somehow some clients, they really don't want to share. For example, if you're taking some compliances, PCI DSS or HIPAA compliance, we have some compliance standard. They must follow that standard. Okay. So to comply with such type of standards, those customers, they really don't share this physical interface with multiple customers. So in that scenario, we can go for a tenancy called dedicated tenancy. There is a dedicated tenancy option. In these dedicated tenancy, we have dedicated instance, dedicated host. Dedicated instance option is there, dedicated host is there. In both the options, whatever option you are choosing, the underlying hardware will not share with any other customers. That is important. Okay. If you choose dedicated instance, you will just get an EC2 instance. You cannot run multiple instances. So technically, this is host. This physical interface is host. Technically, this is host. Okay. This is instance, right? So you are going to get a dedicated instance under first category. Again, is there any other customer servers are going to run? No. No. So in simple, in terms of size, it is very, very small and only one server we are going to get. That is a dedicated instance. Dedicated host means you are going to get a host. On top of this host, you run your instance 1, you run your instance 2, you run your instance 3. All three are yours. Whether you are running only 1 or 2 doesn't matter. But you are getting from this physical interface level onwards. So that is a dedicated host mechanism. The advantage or when we go with this dedicated host is a certification question. Okay. So some applications, For example, Veeam backup is an application, guys, that is used to take a backup of our servers. Okay, so that application license is involved with some CPUs. How many CPU cores you are using? How much? What for memory slot we are going to apply that licenses. Okay, if you're taking this instance and all, we cannot apply that license. We cannot apply that licenses. But if you're taking host, you are getting access to this underlying physical level onwards, right? So you can apply such type of licenses. So for that, you need to go with the dedicated host option. Okay. So that is one certification question. If you see any question, okay, the client want to run some third-party application to perform some backups or some activities on our EC2 instance, but that third-party application is involved with some licensing that need to apply for CPU cores. Oh, okay. So in this scenario, which instance type you are going to suggest is a question. That is a certification question. So your answer should be, he will give you, okay, take shared instance, take a dedicated instance, take a dedicated host, or go with the spot instance. He will give these 4 options. So your answer should be dedicated host. The license want to apply at physical hardware level. Okay, so go with the dedicated host. Just remember that point. Keep that point in your memory. Okay. So this is another option. Clear so far? Right. Multiple small options, right? All are small options. And nothing to perform here. I just need to discuss theoretically. Now, okay, let's discuss about instance types. Whenever we are launching this EC2 instance, we have different instance types here, right? Okay. So first of all, we have wide variety of configuration in AWS. Wide variety of configuration in AWS. Based on our requirement, we can go and choose one supported instance type. But can we customize it? The answer is no. For example, this is T2 Micro. It is coming with 1 CPU, 1.1 GB memory. Okay. The next available one is 1 CPU, 2 gigs of the RAM. Then next, 2 CPU, 4 gigs of the RAM. But I need 3 GB RAM server. Do I have that here? Can I launch? Can I customize and can I launch? No. Either you need to go with this or this. Okay, we don't have any option to customize it. That is the first thing. And so we always selecting T2 Micro. The reason is it comes under free tier eligibility. But in organizations, we have different instance families. Okay, see, the logic is very simple, guys. Whenever you are purchasing a laptop, okay, what are the things you are going to verify? Okay, you are going to verify RAM, processor, okay, storage, then, okay, display, graphic card. Okay, so why is this graphic card mandatory? Without graphic card also you have laptops, right? So, but why you need a graphic card? For gaming purpose. If you are going to use it for gaming purpose, you definitely need to have this graphic card. So there is a requirement for you. So you want to play some games. So you are specifically looking for a component. Fine, that is one thing. So you are going to run a very high configuration like, video editing softwares or photo editing softwares. If it is a very basic laptop, obviously it's going to work very, very slow. So that's the reason whoever works on this video editing and all, they depend on Mac hardware. Reason? Works better. It works better, it fast, the hardware compatibility for that application is good. Right. So similar way, there you observe, they are looking for more processor speeds, more CPU utilization, that application is going to utilize more CPU. So they are looking for this high CPU ones. Okay. Sometimes you're going to use the device to perform perform copy operations here and there. So whenever copy operation is happening, what happened? More RAM utilization will happen. Okay. So the requirement is changing. So for what purpose you are going to purchase that laptop, depending on that, you're customizing the hardware. Similar way, in our AWS, based on our application and its requirement, we have different families. The first one is a general purpose. Okay, general purpose is like a T category, T2, T3, T4G. These categories comes under general purpose category. If you need stable performance, you don't have any special requirements. Whatever hardware you are going to get, you are going to use it, you are happy with it. Okay, you don't have any special requirements like I need to get access, more CPU access required, more graphic required. You don't have any such type of things. In that scenario, go with the general purpose. Okay, now my requirement is changing. I'm going to run an application that is going to consume more CPU. Video editing applications and all that required more CPU. So in that scenario, you can take a category of instance called compute optimized. Compute optimized EC2 instances. So basically, the C category, C4, C5, C6. So you really no need to remember that entire available ones. Just remember all C categories comes under compute. Okay, that gives best performance from this particular component called CPU or compute. Now my requirement is different. I'm expecting more memory utilization. So then we can take memory optimized. So there is a category called RAM. Okay, and there is a category called X1, Z1. These are highest configuration ones in AWS. Okay, so you go and take memory optimized EC2 instance. Okay, fine. My requirement is I'm expecting more storage. I want to read more data from the hard disk, more data I want to write to that EC2 instance. In that scenario, we can depend on storage optimized. See, if you take all these categories, you are going to get CPU, you are going to get RAM, you are going to get storage. There is no change in that. But that component will give better performance, best performance. That particular component will give better performance. So, even these TV advertisers, whenever they want to promote their mobile, they are going to show a game. Why? Remaining everything is same, but they are saying, okay, this game works better with this configuration, right? Without any lag and all. Similar way here also. Right. So we have compute optimized, we have memory optimized, we have storage optimized, we have network optimized, we have GPU optimized, more graphic. So based on our requirement, we can take it. Again, somehow you took it wrong, you analyzed wrongly. You have taken one of the different type. So your requirement is memory optimized, but you have taken general purpose one. You can go and change from any family to any family at any time. From any configuration to any configuration, we can change. Okay. But the important thing is you need to stop the EC2 instance. You need to stop the EC2 instance. Without stopping, you cannot change the configuration. Okay. So generally, we need to take a downtime. Downtime is mandatory to change the category. Currently, it's running with T2 micro. I decided to upgrade it. I decided to downgrade it. Or I decided to change it to compute optimized. Or I decided to change it to GPU. So then you first take a appropriate maintenance window. Generally in organizations, we are going to have a window called a green zone window. green zone window or maintenance window means during that period, we are allowed to perform any activity. During that period only we need to do. Even if application is not available for client also, he's okay. Why? Because we'll already inform these things. So generally we perform these activities on Saturday morning. Okay. So we perform it on Saturday mornings. Why? Because if something goes wrong also, you need to have ample time to fix that issue, right? You have entire Saturday, entire Sunday till Monday morning to fix that issue. All right. So during that maintenance window, we are going to change it. I'll show you how to change it. And here, if you observe this document I shared, it have all these types. Here in starting itself, we have compute optimized. We have general purpose, all T category. This you can easily remember. Okay. So then compute optimized, all C category. The logic I remember is compute starting with C. Correct. So these categories also start with C. Compute or CPU both start with C. All C categories comes under compute optimized. Okay. So then memory optimized. Memory is nothing but RAM. So R category comes under memory optimized. And also this X1, Z1, U1, these are highest configuration one in AWS. So that is also comes under memory optimized. GPU, graphic or accelerated computing. Okay, it is mainly for high level gaming purpose or more graphic processing. We are going to use this GPU optimized category. The logic or mechanism I remember here is PGF1. First of all, have you play video games? That F1 games are there, right? F1 racing games. Very high graphic. Whenever any car accident happens, a lot of sparkle comes and all, right? So yeah, I used to play a lot. So, so first thing that F1, more graphic required, so that comes under graphic category. So after that F1, what is a more graphic game you have played? PUBG. PUBG, right? So P category and G category. There is U category recently available. So there is no B category. So, okay, P and G. First one and last letter also required for more graphic. If you know any better example, you can utilize it. This is a mechanism I used to remember, right? So P category and G category, that comes under GPU or more graphic. So then storage. Storage is nothing but disk. So D category. And have we measured the storage performance? By using IOPS, input and output operations per second, right? So the D and I, these categories comes under storage optimized. In interview, to test whether you are working in real environment or you are an Amir-paid guy, to test you that, interviewer may ask you one question. If I am the interviewer, definitely I'll ask this question. What is the common instance types you are using in your project? 40 to 50% members answer it as a T2 micro instantly. So throughout the course, you are using T2 micro, right? But are we really use T2 micro in production environment? One CPU and 1 GB RAM, not at all sufficient to run one proper website. It's there for practice purpose, but we really don't depend on it. Okay, just for jump server purpose and all, we will use, okay, to jump here and there to connect to that server, this server. For connectivity purpose, we will use T2 micros. But to deliver real applications, we never ever use this T2 micros. Okay, so don't answer it as a T2 micro in your interview. Okay, so then what category you can answer? Take any from these three. First or second, very happy. If you don't remember, if T suddenly comes to your mind, make it as a T3 medium. If suddenly T2 micro comes into your mind, make it as a T3 medium at least. Don't make it as a T2 micro. Okay. So remember this. And what is that M category? Memory. Sorry, it's a general purpose. Okay. So R is RAM, R is memory. So remember this C5 extra large. C is like a compute, CPU. So you mentioned, okay, we are using C5 extra large that comes with 4 CPU, 8 gigs of the RAM. Mainly, if you are adding experience, you take care about these points. Okay. Right. So I've seen some guys who is very good at technical things, but they're adding some experience like a 3 years and 4 years, but they really don't know like how ticket is allocated to you.
What
Okay.
about 3,
So
sir?
how you are going to get a issue? I am talking, right? I'll give a question on this window.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yep. So, how you are going to get a ticket, how you are going to work on incidents, and at what time, these things also, like at what time you are going to perform that upgradation or downgradation. Okay, I've seen some guys who answer it as okay, whenever client requests, we are going to do it. That is not a valid answer. We don't follow that practices. I clearly mentioned we are going to have a maintenance windows, green zone windows. During that windows only we will perform. So keep such type of things in mind, mainly if you're adding experience. Okay, remember the terminology also. So for ticketing and all, you mentioned Zira, or you mentioned Cherwell, or you mentioned ServiceNow or Snow. Okay, if you mention, okay, we use Snow, that guy won't ask any other question. Okay, so you need to know such type of things also that I'll talk later of the course, right? So, but these maintenance window, remember, and how you are going to change. Whoever is requesting us to modify the configuration, they need to create a CRQ. CRQ means change request. Simply, okay, if you think that is working slow, you simply don't go and modify it, right? You're not going to pay from your pocket for the EC2 instance. So, it required some approvals. So, a CRQ is required. You need to create that guy need to create a CRQ during that CRQ window. That happens on Saturdays. Okay, so then you can perform that activity. Right. So now quickly I'll show you here. Yeah, someone is asking a question. What is that question? Now you are allowed to ask
Sir,
that.
thank you, sir. M is memory, sir. C is
Yes.
CPU. What is the T?
No.
What
M,
about T?
M is general purpose.
Yes,
T
yes.
also general purpose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is general purpose. It is written here. Yeah.
No, you were saying that C is CPU, M is memory, like that.
No. R is for memory. Why? Because R is like RAM. Okay. R is RAM. So M is again comes under general purpose.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So now this is running with T2 micro. I want to upgrade it. First of all, why I need to upgrade it? So for better performance and all. For example, this EC2 instance is not able to handle all the load. So generally, you're trying to do an activity like, it involves some physical things and all. You're trying to lift something. Okay, you had breakfast at morning 7 a.m. and you're trying to do it now. You don't have proper energy. Right? You're trying to do it. And you're not able to. As the first thing, what you will do? Drink a boost and you will get energy and you can do it, right? Right. So that's how they show in ads. So first of all, you are gaining energy for yourself and you are doing that activity. Simply you are not depending on someone. So first of all, you are gathering your energy. You are trying to do it. You are not depending on third person. Okay. So here this EC2 instance is trying to deliver all the requests it is getting, but somehow it is not able to deliver all the requests. So then what we are doing, we are simply changing the categories and all. We are first increasing, we are upgrading it. We are upgrading it. So from T2 micro, I'm upgrading it to next level. I'm not changing the categories and all. Or I'm not creating another server. I'm not creating another server. I'm adding more resources to the same. Okay. So that basically we call it as a vertical scaling. We have two types of scalings, guys. One is vertical scaling. Second one is horizontal scaling. Vertical scaling means upgrading the server, adding more resources to the server is a vertical scaling. Okay. Horizontal scaling is our tomorrow's topic. With the help of load balancer, we are going to distribute the works to servers or 3 servers or 5 servers. Okay. So currently we are whatever activity you are performing, right? It's a vertical scaling. So currently it is T2 micro. Navigate to here. First, go to actions, instance settings, change instant type. This is in disabled state. The reason instance is in running state. If you want to perform upgradation or downgradation, you first need to stop it. So go to instance state, stop the instance, click on stop. Here the advantage is no OS level modifications required. After performing upgradation or downgradation, you no need to perform anything at OS level. Okay. It won't affect anything. That's why we have virtualizer, hypervisor, right? That hypervisor will take care about that thing. Okay, instance is in stopped state now. Currently, it is running with T2 micro. Go to actions, instance settings. Now change instant type is there. Select the change instant type from T2 micro to, I'm going to change it to, okay, I'm going to change it to T2 medium. You guys don't do this. Why? Because only T2 micro comes under filter eligibility. Then click on apply. Now what is happened? It is with T2 micro. Now I'm going to start the instance. Start instance. So now it is going to run with T2 medium. Now it is in running state. Is there an issue with our web server? Wait, connection refused. That is a service problem. It will come. No issue with our security group. Let's get connect and verify this. Okay, it is in running state. Okay, it just took some time. It just took some time. I have not restarted. I did not perform anything. I just verify the status. Okay. All right. So after upgrading also, our application is working without any difficulty. And this is running with T2 medium now. So the higher configuration. Okay. So only upgradation we perform. Can't we do downgradation? Of course, we can do downgradation also. If you want to downgrade this, we can simply first stop instance. So I'm stopping the instance. Once it is stopped, I can go and change the type and I can run it again. I can start it again. It will run. So this is how exactly you can perform vertical scaling on our EC2 instance. Fine, till some point of view, till certain point, this vertical scaling is okay, but not always. This vertical scaling has a disadvantage. So if you are taking very high configuration server in AWS and if you're trying to deliver, fine, it works. But if something happened to that server, your entire application is going to get affected, right? But if you have two servers, if something happened to one server, another server will take the load. The logic is very simple, guys. Even though work is very less also, they will always maintain two candidates in a project. If you're depending only on one, if you're depending only on one employee, if he resigns, okay, if he resigns, so then again, you need to find a replacement and that guy will take a lot of time to understand all the things, right? But if two guys are there, if both are like, doing the same work and all, so if one guy goes also, another guy is there for backup purpose. So similar way, if you're depending on only one EC2 instance to deliver a critical application, it is not a recommended one. Distribute your application across two servers and deliver it. In some cases, in some worst cases, if something happened to your server 1, server 2 is there that delivers your data, at least temporarily. Okay. So we always, if it is a enterprise level application, we depend on multiple EC2 instance to deliver our application. So technically we call that as a horizontal scaling. Okay. So this is in stopped state. We can go and we can change instant type. And go and choose T2 micro, apply, then start the instance. All right. So it's starting now and we will get that web page. Okay. So that is a vertical scaling. So how to perform horizontal scaling, we'll discuss tomorrow with the help of load balancers. We'll start load balancer topic tomorrow. Okay. So, yeah. Any questions before closing today's session, guys? Lot of small topics. Just
Sir,
and read these topics.
Sir, in vertical scaling means we can add that within that server only, no?
Yeah. So currently it is running with one CPU, 1 gigs of the RAM.
Yes, sir.
But whenever you are taking the next configuration, what I did from T2 micro,
yes, sir.
I have upgraded to T2 medium, right?
Yes,
it's
sir.
coming with 2 CPU and 4 gigs of the RAM.
Yes,
so we are increasing that CPU count and memory count.
Yes, sir. Yeah, within the server only, you can increasing the capacity of the RAM, all the things, sir. Yes, that we are achieving by changing the instant type. Okay, sir. Yeah. That is nothing but vertical scaling. Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Avinash?
Yes, please.
Yeah, automatic scaling process will not support AC vertical scaling.
For vertical scaling, it won't support it. For horizontal scaling, we can perform auto scaling. That is day after tomorrow's topic.
Okay.
How we can configure it, we will discuss. But for vertical scaling, automatically, for example, based on the load, I want to increase the capacities. So that is not possible here. Not only here, with another cloud providers also, it is not possible. Why? Because without performing reboot, without performing stop and start, we cannot add more resources. That is a problem.
Understood.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? So these all things I have added here. Just go through this. Okay. So here, network interface, virtualization type, tenancies in AWS, shared responsibility model. I'll talk about that. This is ports you need to remember. And some points regarding security group, I'll talk about that. Status checks, vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. This is our next session topic. Okay, I'll upload this to our GitHub. I'm terminating these EC2 instances or whatever the resource I created, I'll terminate it. I think I don't have any now. Okay.
Avinash, do you provide any DevOps, AWS DevOps related courses?
See, I already shared the Jenkins course, right? I already shared Jenkins one. I already shared GitHub one. And we are going to discuss AWS own DevOps services as part of the course only. Yeah. Okay. So here the document is uploaded. Go through that. And if you are facing any difficulty, post it in our Slack channel. Yes, please. Okay. So some guys are saying like, so their Putty application is, if it is inactive, the session is inactive, or if you're not like, given any keystroke and all, it is going inactive state, right? Okay. So change Putty timeout. Okay. So there is a setting here, session timeout setting, right? So go to Putty settings. So there is a option called seconds between keep alive. Okay. So change this. Okay. So just there is an option called seconds between keep alive under settings in your Putty. I don't have Putty application here. Okay. Or depend on this. So this is a setting. Yeah. So go to connections. Okay. Open your Putty, go to connections. When you click on connections, you see here seconds between keep alives. So give that value here. Set it to 0. Okay. Set it to 0. So then click on apply. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. That's it for today's session, guys. See you again tomorrow. Thank you.